in the country, and we're very pleased to have joining us a very special guest. Zahid Hussain is a Pakistani who's well known to many Koreans through his appearances on various television shows, but that's not all he does. He was an honorary ambassador representing Pakistan during the 2018 Winter Olympics and Paralympics, and will be appointed honorary ambassador to the Korea Tourism Association. We're going to find out more about his life and his views on the general environment here in Korea. Mr. Hussain, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for calling me here. Well,
just a brief background on you for those listeners who may not have seen you on TV. How did you come to Korea, and how did you end up living here?
So after my high school, I was looking for opportunities to study engineering because I was studying pre-engineering in my high school. And I got 2 scholarships from Italy and from Korea. Korea was the Korean government scholarship program, which we call GKS scholarship. And I thought Korea must be a better place than Italy for me as an engineer because, I used to know a lot about Samsung and LG. I used to hear about them before in high school. So I decided to come to Korea, and I found it a very good place. I started falling in love with the culture. I got a lot of good friends here, and that made me stay here.
Okay, so initially a somewhat positive experience. I'm sure there were pros and cons, but it was positive experience.
For sure.
Making you decide to stay here. We don't like stereotypes of any nationalities or ethnic groups, but one thing there is a general image of Pakistanis being excellent engineers. And Pakistan, India, they are known to produce some of the top world-class level engineers. I understand your background is also in engineering, but you've now pursued other studies as well, including getting an MBA. Those seem like different things, although we do have many engineers who, of course, lead companies and are prominent businessmen. But what was your educational decision in that front?
As you said, Pakistanis and Indians are famous, especially in IT. I came to study electrical engineering and electrical and electronics engineering. I graduated from Korea University from electrical engineering department. But then, when I was studying engineering at the school, I realized that I will find a better fit for myself in more administrative and managerial activities. But then I didn't give up my engineering because I had a passion for engineering too. So when I was studying here at Korea University, I used to do a lot of other activities to push myself in different directions. And after my graduation, I got a job in project management team, and where now I work as a project manager. And then, I have a future plan. For my short-term plan is to start my own business in energy.
In Korea?
In Korea. And then later on, I want to go and contribute back home in Pakistan based on my experiences in Korea as a politician. So I decided to go for MBA after my engineering to be a good manager and to be a better leader if I could be later in my future.
Right. And so, here in Korea, I'm sure you've heard billions of times about how we're in the midst of a 4th industrial revolution. We have to teach STEM to our kids to be prepared. You're kind of almost perfectly positioned for that with your background. And obviously, we hope that that is a trajectory for success. I mentioned this briefly. We talked about how you have appeared on those various we can call variety programs here in Korea, where we gather some kind of roundtable or panel of expats who live here and speak such wonderful Korean. You've been a part of that. I know there's a show business element to it, and it's not necessarily very substantive, but how's that experience been like, and has that been mainly a positive experience for you?
I think it was a very positive experience for me. The first thing that I got through that show was, a lot of Korean people started knowing me. And in the same way, I started knowing them too, because they know me, so I know them too. And that gave me an opportunity to get closer to people and to get to know about people more and more. And because the cultures are because of the people.
Right.
So when you know the people, you know the culture. And that's how I got more into the Korean culture, very closer than I used to be before. Plus, after that show, as I said, I want to be a politician later. it made me study about Pakistan too. I had never studied Pakistan before. I was representing Pakistan on that show.
Right.
And, we were given topics, and, I used to compare.
So you have to sound like you know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
About your
so
own
I
country.
used to study a lot. Like, we had to study a lot for that. And, we compare. That was an opportunity for me to compare Pakistan with other countries sitting with me. Most of them were developed countries, and Pakistan is a developing country. So it gave me a lot of things that we could still do in Pakistan to make it a better country. And I think that was a very good experience for me overall, as a person and as a future could be leader in Pakistan. Yeah.
Well, speaking of being a leader, you are from a Muslim majority country, we can say, with Pakistan. You mentioned you had options. You considered Italy for a while, and there are various parts of the world where we have a diaspora of Pakistanis in the U.S., Europe, all over, and there are certainly large communities of people of the same nationality who have a support system here. People can say that Korea maybe has quite smaller numbers in terms of the overall Muslim population, but also the Pakistani population. How's your life been in terms of not just the welcoming aspects of Koreans or whatnot, but also just general living, like your dietary needs or your things that might conflict with your beliefs? Has that transition and that environment been conducive so far?
Well, Korea, when we compare it with big countries, we always say like there are less people in Korea and stuff like that. But Korea itself is a small country, so you will definitely have a smaller number of people as compared to countries like America or England, because they're bigger countries.
Sure.
And I think Korea is changing with a very, very high speed. I think a lot of things are now changed. When I came in 2008, things were different, but now after 10 years, things are different in a better way, as I could say. Pakistanis, we have more than 10,000 Pakistanis in Korea. Overall, we have almost 2,000 students in Korea. Most of them are PhD and master students doing a lot of research in Korea. So as a Muslim, when you live in Korea, initially when I came in 2008, there were not many opportunities of getting halal food, because we have a culture of halal food, and most of the Muslims do not drink. So Korea. It was really hard to get halal food, and there were not many halal restaurants before. But now I think there are halal food places in almost every major city in Korea. And if you're living in a countryside, you can still order online from those halal food places. And there are halal restaurants in almost every part of Korea. Even some universities are providing halal food. And I hope that other universities will start that too, and this will keep growing. And I think it is growing in a positive way, in a better way. And I think that is a good sign. That is a good sign to grow. That is a good sign for Korea to grow in a positive way for international communities, including the Muslims.
And let's dispel some myths and fake kind of false rumors that have been spreading around. I know it's a touchy subject. It's definitely a different situation from you and your community, but the controversies over in Jeju, the asylum seekers from Yemen, around 500, and these protests that we've seen now, this kind of virulent and harsh rhetoric we're hearing from certain pockets of Koreans where there is a fear, there is a misunderstanding, there is an anger, and obviously you're going to dispel the myth that you want to impose Sharia law here in South Korea. But how do you approach that as a Muslim yourself? Although you're not a Yemeni, you can probably sympathize with their plight.
Yeah, for sure. I think you see, it totally makes sense that some Koreans are kind of scared about asylum seekers because they came in a big number all of a sudden. But if I look it from a different perspective, I think these people are escaping war. I mean, they're running away for life. And I think being a good part of the global community, South Korea is already a good part of the global community, as we all know. Right. And I think being a good part of the global community, it's our responsibility to take care of people from other countries. It doesn't matter where they're from. It doesn't matter what beliefs they're following. I think first of all, it's our responsibility responsibility to take them in. And of course, people are talking about like they're going to like impose Sharia law, or they're going to do crimes, attack women and stuff. These are crimes that we have to take care of after accepting them in the society. So first of all, we have to get them a safe place to stay, and give them a little bit of opportunity to make their earnings to live a life. But I think we should give them an opportunity. We have this prejudice and this perspective that majority of the Muslims are like they want to impose Sharia law, or they're terrorists. Majority of Muslims are not like that, to be very honest. I'm a Muslim. I've been living in Korea for 10 years, and I think I have always tried to contribute on the Korean society in a positive way. So I could be an example. I think other Muslims, if they are given the right opportunity, I think they are going to be a good part of the society. And these people, if we take care of them now, when the Yemeni crisis, I don't know when that will finish, but of course we should hope for positive things. It will finish someday, and when these people go back at that time, these are going to be the ambassadors for Korea. These are going to be the what we call Hongbo Desa in Korea, because they're going to go back and talk about Korea in good terms, in good things, and positive way. That's going to promote Korea all over the world, and Korea being a very important part of the global community, I think it's very important for them for now to kind of like contribute in giving them a safe place, and then later these people are going to be our supporters and our promoters all over the world.
It's almost comical that we do have to spend so much time talking about these things. It's like a Korean cannot go overseas and say, majority of us do not eat dogs, or majority of us do not want to nuclear attack other countries.
Exactly.
And so, it's just about dispelling these things, and sometimes it's a class issue as well. I think it's not necessarily all religion. Someone might a Korean might see Zahid Hussain and think differently about somebody who came from Yemen, who may not be of the same background, and so there's a lot of misunderstandings that we have to clear up.
That's very true, and I think our media could play a very good role in that. Because when I was coming to Korea in the beginning, people were asking like, "Why are you going to Korea?" I was like, "Oh, because I want to study there." Oh, it's a war zone. It's, people, because, always you show on media about North Korea. So people back home think that, Korea is just a North Korea. So it's the similar way. I think about the Muslims, there are, I would not say there were not bad things in the Muslim world. There are a lot of things going on in the Muslim world, but media is only showing that part. But the majority of Muslims are having an okay life, just like us, working hard to give a good to live a good life and stuff, and support their families and everything. So a lot of majority of the Muslims are not what we think that are shown on the media. So right now, our media could play a role in showing the positive side of the Muslims and the Islamic world, and trying to like eliminate and eradicate these kind of prejudices and biasness about the Muslims, and that will help it a lot.
And I think you do go a long ways to helping that as well, obviously with your prominent role in Korea. Just as a final brief question, what are your future plans? I know you have a big business plan started as well, but what other immediate plans?
So right now I'm working for a Korean company in the energy field, and I'm the project manager for the projects in Pakistan, and our company has a huge project in Pakistan, 1,000 megawatt. We recently started working on it, so my immediate plan is to focus on my job. My company is right now, they're in Pakistan. They're having a meeting with the government, and so I think one of the jobs that I'm doing in Korea is to bring Pakistan and Korea closer together, not only culturally but also economically. So that's what I'm looking forward to right now. Yeah.
Well, very good. We hope we can have you back on sometime in the near future as well. Don't become too big a star on TV that you don't make time for our little show. But it's been a pleasure. Mr. Hussain, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, man. I'll be looking forward to come back. Thank you so much. Thanks.